back over to you so you can introduce Angela.
So, Angela, tell us a little bit about what your job is at the city, and then if you could, maybe you could even define what arts and culture actually is.
Yes, I'm the manager of arts and culture for the city. And if you want me to start with what art is, I'm sure everybody wants to know what art is and tries to define art. Different artists and different people have different perspectives and definitions on art. Right. But I would say that art is an expression of human creativity and imagination.
And then, in your job that you have, what is the city's role in that then?
I manage public art program, which is a program dedicated to developing public artworks. So public art really is managing also public artworks throughout the Burlington. We have an inventory of around 80 public artworks.
Oh, we have that much, do we?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, can you tell me, I know where the flowers are on Upper Middle Road, but can you tell me where some of the other artwork is?
Of course, we try to have public artworks spread throughout the city, and we do have a public map where citizens can see exactly where the locations are, and they can find that online on burlingtonpublicartmap.com. We have lots of locations, mainly downtown, because of the downtown core and trying to bring lots of vibrancy to the downtown, but also spread throughout the city, like throughout Hydro Corridor, up in Alton, Alton, in Plains Road, everywhere.
So, and who pays for the public art? Is that, I'm not exactly sure, is that public sector, meaning like the city of Burlington, or on that list is also, you know, I own ABC company, for example, and I put out some public art on my lawn. I know there is some companies in town that have art on the front of their buildings. Is that all part of that inventory, or is there that 80 just what the city has done, what is put in place?
That 80 is really what the city has done.
Okay.
However, there are lots of private public artwork out there. Mainly who pays for it is the city of Burlington. However, though, Public Art Reserve Fund, from where we get the funds we draw from, is also, we have been helped a lot by lots of investors. And I would like to thank and acknowledge Dan Laurie. He has been donating to public art, and also Brainhaven Development also has been donating to public artwork. Majority of the funds in the reserve fund come from Section 37. I'm not sure if you are aware of that.
What's that about?
So it's Section 37 is of the Planning Act. Basically is if a developer applies to the city of Burlington with a new development and requires more high density that the zoning allows, through Section 37 the city can enter into agreement and ask for extra
that's what Mary Ann Mead Ward, I believe, objects to. No, that section.
So a developer pays basically for the privilege of doing something outside the zoning, and part of that deal or whatever is a contribution to public art.
Correct.
So, just for, if you could tell us, is that fund well funded then? Is that something that you've got a fair amount of money in the budget for? And so the taxpayer, the average taxpayer, me and Mark, and we're not developers, you're not a developer, you know,
you're in the real estate business.
It doesn't come off, there's no money coming off the tax base for that? It's all coming out of that reserve fund?
Actually, with the budget, there is only $50,000 that comes with the budget from the taxpayers towards public art program.
So there's a little bit.
Just a little bit, and the rest of the money comes from Section 37.
Angela, I think most people understand, you know, what art is, even if they don't understand the art itself, and I'm a perfect example of that. What I have difficulty with is getting my mind around culture. So in your job as manager, arts and culture, what does the cultural, what is that in your job?
Yeah, Thank you for the question. I think we should get back to the definition of arts and culture because they're both related together, and culture cannot exist without the arts, even though arts is just a part of the culture.
Okay.
So
Okay.
culture is the broader definition of, and it does not encompass only the arts, but also traditions, ways of living together, different systems and beliefs. And the city of Burlington has embraced the definition of UNESCO, United Nations definition for culture, where culture is the set of those spiritual, material features of the society. So really culture, if I can put it in a more popular way, is a way of living. And it can be experienced differently from different people. So my culture, my personal culture, can be different from your culture and your culture. However, as Canadians, we do share some values that are the same for everyone, and they are part of our culture as well.
And so that's where I'm trying to think of, I can understand managing artwork. I really can't get my mind around managing culture because it is so broad and diverse.
You really cannot manage culture. Culture constantly evolves. However, though, you can develop and you can create policies to develop arts and culture in the city and to help cultural groups express themselves.
Oh, I see.
So this is really what we are in charge of. Through policies and different projects that we have, we develop those, we help arts and culture community to express themselves and to develop.
So your job isn't to create culture, but to help cultural groups manage or help them through whatever programs they have do an expression of their culture or the culture that they're trying to. And the city's role is to be not a conduit, but an assistance to be able to make that happen. Is that really what the city's role is in that area?
Yes.
And then, are you all by yourself in this job then?
I have a culture coordinator, one other city staff person helping me out with this.
All right. So there's a couple of you, and you work
two. We're a team of two.
Team of two, and you're in the recreation department. Is that correct?
I'm in planning and building
department.
department.
You're planning and building. Oh,
yes.
Wow, that's interesting. And you think you're planning and building. Were you ever in the was that
because of the Planning Act?
Yeah,
I thought it used to be under.
Yeah, I always just made the assumption it was
Rec.
under Parks and Recreation, but it's under planning. So, and how long have you been in that position?
Well, my position has evolved before, and then as a manager of arts and culture, I've been for 3 years.
Oh, 3 years. Did that position exist before you?
No, it did not exist.
Oh, is that right, eh? Oh, well, congratulations.
So Burlington has really taken a large step then in the arts and cultural area by having you there, first of all, but by making that investment in an actual position where maybe it was before.
Maybe it was before.
That it used to be Parks and Rec when there was no one in that position. So the City of Burlington has really taken a huge step then, haven't they?
Thank you. They have. And we, a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, we developed Cultural Action Plan. And that's where the city decided to take a big step towards arts and culture and support arts and culture community. There were 4 main areas of the Cultural Action Plan that were recommended, and it's a set of 47 recommendations. And another part of my job is to implement those recommendations other than managing the public art program, and we're working towards them. I would say 2 main recommendations that we're really working and we're way ahead of implementing is the creation of an Arts and Culture Council. As you may be aware, we didn't have a council before.
Right.
So I've been working with the artistic community, and I'm very pleased to let you know that on March 1st we will be launching the creation of an Arts and Culture Council. And
so from a broader perspective, to include culture in that, because I know that, and we'll have Robert on a little bit later, but the guilds that he works with at the Arts Center are
Art Gallery
now. Now, the control room is telling me they've got the map of the artwork.
Yeah, let's have a look.
So let's put that inventory up.
We can still chat while they're putting it up there.
Sure.
Oh,
Oh, so like the Terry Fox Monument is counted as public art?
Yes, it was a donation of a group of people from the Terry Fox Committee.
Okay, that's great. Because one of your co-hosts is
that's right.
a leader on that
Casey.
grouping.
Blog, Escarpment Revolution
Yeah,
is
what
another
is that?
one. Escarpment Evolution is a public artwork by Burlington artist Judy Mayer Grieve, and it talks about the evolution of the escarpment, and it's a digital artwork on King Road underpass, and it also has a salamander there to capture the history of the salamander passing every year. You see that most of the artworks that are showing right now are proudly commissioned by a Burlington artist as part of a local artist mural program that we have. And we realized that we have been commissioning public artwork from different artists, even outside of the Canada, and we wanted to develop more local and opportunities for local artists. So as part of this program, we purchase or we commission 2 artworks every year, and it's dedicated completely to local artists. And throughout this program, we also are able to provide professional development. We create workshops for them, and we offer mentoring opportunities. So this sort of develops the artist and prepares them for the market out there, and they are able to apply for other commissions for public artwork in other cities.
I think most people would be surprised, who are not actively involved, that there's 80 installations across the city that we have for public art. Does your department, or do you set a goal? Is there like you're hoping to put 2 new ones in a year, or is it that kind of approach?
We have a plan that we stick to every year, and we usually it's around 5 to 6 public artworks a year. Yes, depending also on the size of the monument and the financial implications.
Right.
Some of the projects are small scale, some other projects are larger scale. We try to create large-scale projects every 2-3 years, not every year, because then all the reserve fund would be over, would be gone. So we try to manage it that way.
And when we look at those 80 pieces, they're all Burlington artists?
No, not all of them, but some of them.
Okay.
I would say, on top of my head, maybe 50% are from Burlington artists.
Okay, and the rest of them are from, talking about that 50% that are Burlington artists, it must be interesting to choose either a statue or a piece of artwork for the city. What is that process like? It must be very complex, and is it just you that makes the decision, or is it a group of individuals that I can blame those flowers on Upper Middle Road on?
Thank you for asking that question. It's not me.
Okay.
I'm the one who manages how the program works.
Okay.
Basically how it works is we have PADIT, it's called Public Art Development Implementation Team. It's a group of city staff members from every department, and they're the decision-making board, and I'm the chair of the board. It's still not us who makes the decision. We assemble a jury for each public artwork, and the jury is comprised of members of citizens of Burlington and also artists. And we try that the citizens that are selected for the jury live in the area where the public artwork is going to be located. Okay. So we want to have a feeling and an understanding of the history of the area, of the community that lives there. The artists want to create that human touch and wants to get as much information as they can before they come up with the creation of an artwork. So there is lots of work involved in public art, from selecting a location and being able to get all the clearances and make sure that that's the right location for public art, to selecting the theme, to selecting the jury, and then to entering into an agreement with the artist, and then following the whole process, getting the engineered stamped drawings from the artist, commissioning the artwork, accepting it, and coming up with a maintenance plan.
That's
a long
lengthy process.
So how long would that normally take then?
Sometimes it takes more than a year.
Oh, really, eh?
It takes lots of
Now,
planning.
can you tell me, out of those 80 that we saw, how many are north of 5?
I believe if we go to north of Highway 5,
in the rural area.
Do we have any in the rural area?
I think we
In Lowville or anything?
No, that's Walt Ricky's studio.
Yes.
Up in Lowville, right
Yes.
across from the park. And incidentally, he's a great artist. I like Walt's stuff.
He is. I like his stuff too. On top of my mind, I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly, but I know that we try to have public art in all the words, and we try to stick to that. And also, we have a public art master plan that sort of tells us the locations. It's a 10-year master plan that indicates where the locations for public art are or should be, and we try to stick to that.
So is there, you know, we talked about the city, we talked about the developers, the fund that they have to, that they can contribute to and so on. And you mentioned Dan Laurie's insurance. I'm sure it's Dan Laurie individually doing it. We know Dan quite well. What is the role? Is there a role for just the private sector, just companies or individuals? Can they actually donate to this?
How do they get involved
How would they
in
get
arts
involved?
and culture?
Of course, they can donate if they would like to.
But does it happen?
Other than Dan Laurie and the Brent Haven,
Right.
we didn't have any other.
Much. So
it's
they're
not
taking the
happened
lead
much.
on that. So there's
Yeah.
lots of opportunities for others to join the bandwagon, so to speak, on that.
Definitely, there is lots of opportunities. Section 37, I see it also as a private contribution because it
Yeah, well,
really
it is
comes
private
from
money,
the
for
private.
sure, yeah.
And there is also opportunity also for I'm not sure if you've heard of Percent for Art program.
No.
It's a program that has been successfully developed in Toronto and Calgary and other municipalities of a smaller scale. I'm not saying that's going to happen tomorrow, but there is an opportunity there to leverage the Percent for Art program, where basically every new development that comes to the city should dedicate 1% of the cost of the development to public art program.
No, that's regardless whether it changes
and that's how
within zoning or not. That's got nothing to do with it.
Regardless of the
okay,
zoning, so
all right.
regardless Section 37.
And there are communities who have that too.
Yes, and it has been a game changer for City of Calgary, where overnight it transformed into a city of art and beauty,
Right.
just because of the money from Percent
there's
for
a
Art.
lot of the economy and art, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize, is that a vibrant art community like Oakville has a very vibrant art community can add to the economics
Right.
of a city or town. Well, Angela, I really appreciate you coming on, because it was an area that I wasn't familiar enough with, and we really appreciate you coming on and telling us a little bit more about your job and what the Arts and Culture Division of City Hall does.
Thank you for having me. And there were lots of projects that we didn't have the time to touch on, but I would invite everyone to, if they would like more information, they can go to our website, burlingtonpublicart.ca, and they can check there all the projects that we're working on right now and all the opportunities for public to engage.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.